Indo-American Chamber of Commerce presents the first Indo-US BPO Summit, leveraging the power of partnerships in the new digital age, in partnership with CNBC TV 18.
Hello and welcome to CNBC TV 18. I'm Malvika Jain. I am in Florida at the first Indo-US BPO Summit being organized by the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce and CNBC TV 18.
I'm calling from the Associates.
India's BPO sector is at the cusp of an evolution. Having lost a sizable percentage of its voice business to the Philippines, the sector has its task cut out.
5 years ago, we weren't even measuring the average speed to answer there or how quickly we were closing those calls, so we're measuring all of that.
A great partner here with India. We've been able to understand the customer set a lot better.
STPI played a big role in the IT and BPO industry.
I think you're going to see more and more of the automation, the analytics, knowledge-based systems driving human behavior.
Transforming from being, cost arbitrage to knowledge arbitrage.
During the first of its kind summit in Florida in the United States, we met experts and industry leaders to find out how India's BPO sector is focusing on digitization and non-voice processes, developing the right mix of onshore and offshore presence, and is rebranding itself as the business process management industry.
Look, this industry is going to Philippines because there are not enough people in India for what we need to fulfill. If you analyze the growth of Philippines, you will see it is the Indian companies that form the largest component in Philippines. So we have the wherewithal and the ability to pick up the business. We'd like to service it in India where we can, because India is the only market that allows you the scalability with a talent base that is capable of some high-end work, problem-solving decision-making, rather than rule-set based. Unfortunately for other countries, and fortunately for India, the problem-solving decision-making capability to scale up in other countries is not there. And that is which is our biggest strength. So some voice-based processes would probably go to Philippines, which are rule-based aspects. And again, the larger companies that are playing there are the Indian companies.
There's a lot of people that have actually talked about, death of outsourcing, death of BPO, and colleagues of mine in my company.
And that's from where my question is coming.
Right, absolutely. I view it a little bit differently. I see this as the next generation of outsourcing. Okay. And if you really think about what technology is going to do, it's still replacing labor. So all the automation, the cognitive automation piece of it, as well as the robotic process automation, is really just another form of outsourcing. Now what India needs to make sure that they do is the providers that are in that company or that country need to really focus on what is the technology going to be able to do, because they will become third parties providing that technology solution.
Very much. I mean, this is a $26 billion market for Indian BPO companies, targeted to be $50 billion. I think they will go up the value chain. Right. I mean, the Philippines is going more in telephony, while the Indian BPOs are going more up the value on the analytics side, on the design side. So I think the relevance is still there.
In the earlier days, people came to India to reduce their cost. Today, they're looking at leveraging all of us to transform their companies. If you look at the kind of services we provide, earlier it was all about people sitting at computers and providing low-end kind of tasks. Today it's all about research, analytics, it's all about finance and accounting. It's much higher value kind of services, leveraging robotics, leveraging technology, leveraging artificial intelligence. As a result of this, in our own selfish interest, we have recognized the need to actually have a completely different kind of skill set and talent infused into our business.
The Indian BPO industry hopes to woo new customers by moving away from pure call center offerings to more sophisticated, automated and digital solutions.
Actually, the BPM industry is reacting extremely well to all the challenges because we've actually co-opted into our business model a lot of these so-called challenges. So if you look at technology, we are the people who actually created robotic process automation models. If you look at analytics, we have actually infused analytics into all our services. If you look at what we're doing around talent and skilling of resources, we are actually focused on ensuring that the right kind of industry-ready talent comes into the industry longer term. So, as new disruptive thoughts emerge in the marketplace from a customer point of view, we are right there at the forefront, enabling our clients to outperform with the kind of passion and the kind of services that we provide.
I think the thing that I'm telling my customers is that it is important now for us to show you how we can affect your business outcomes. The point I'm trying to make is, earlier we were just looking at customer service and said, look, you've got to be a good customer service, because if you've got poor customer service, then obviously your customer will leave you. Now we're saying, look, we've got tools to make your customer service far greater, to make a paradigm shift in your customer service. And can you monetize the same? Can you build the lifetime value of those customers? And therefore, we're telling customers, don't cut down on BPO, because if BPO can therefore affect your business outcome, increase your profitability, you will want to do more.
Right.
And I think all these new tools that we are using, analytics, big data, is essentially to get more out of your top customers, treat them well and get more out of them. And therefore, companies should spend more on BPO and not less.
Even though the overall BPO spend increased by 0.4% to 9.7 lakh crore rupees during FY15 to 16, customers like Microsoft say that cost arbitrage is still the first thing that comes to a customer's mind before engaging an Indian outsourcing firm.
If you go back to the start of Indian BPO, of the Indian BPO sector, its greatest value proposition was its cost. We were cheaper than the rest of the world, so we became attractive. And whilst we have, the industry has evolved, and the Indian BPO sector is still is looking to move up the value chain, I think there is still a perception amongst clients that when you start talking to them about India as a location, the first thing that comes to mind is the cost. And I think that's something that India has to move out of, and because cost is now table stakes.
Right.
So the whole notion of, we've been talking the last 2 days about innovation and transformation, that has to be translated into the minds of people who are buying services. The first thought that comes to your mind should not be cost, rather it should be value.
Right.
That is, in my opinion, the first. The second is India as a BPO destination is done. We are established as the number one destination. However, I think where we need to start to think about India as a destination for BPO is not just India as a location by itself in isolation, because that's not the way business is evolving. Businesses are moving towards a global, almost like call it a supply chain, service supply chain. And so we need to be thinking about India as being the hub, and present India as a hub of a global network of delivery locations, delivery centers, and so India becomes the node around which you have a constellation or almost a solar system kind of a situation where you, and I guess that's probably the way we need to think about and project India. If you just project India as a sole destination, that's not the way. That's you're slightly out of line with the way businesses are going.
Just like at time, our product has been shifting from a paper product to a digital product.
India's one of the earlier startups for customer management.
I think that's a market that's evolving rapidly. You certainly see companies like Amazon that are coming into the
Indo-American Chamber of Commerce presents the first Indo-US BPO Summit, leveraging the power of partnerships in the new digital age, in partnership with CNBC TV 18.
According to NASSCOM, the industry will hit a revenue target of 2,373 crore rupees by 2025. Digital technology is expected to pave the way for such growth. Customers are already demanding more nuanced digital solutions.
Just like at time, our product has been shifting from a paper product to a digital product. This transformation has required us to have agents on the ground able to speak fluently in both the print world and the digital world.
Right.
And so that's what we've been working with our partners to enable that to occur.
India's one of the earlier startups for customer management BPO. I think one of the challenges there is how does it play a bigger role in this omni-channel world, in this digital interaction world, which, by the way, I think is a great opportunity for India. So I don't know if it's a challenge per se, but the ability of India to provide chat and email support, web backend support, SMS support, some social media support, I think less than a challenge, I'd call it an opportunity. Or let me put it this way, an industry challenge becomes an opportunity for a location. On the back office piece, it's probably more of, again, less of a challenge, but because you're beginning to see this trend of the tier 2 cities and development of smart cities, of non-metro solutions.
Yeah, I think that's a market that's evolving rapidly. We certainly see companies like Amazon that are coming into the Indian marketplace and giving market friction to other suppliers that have been well established, and that's changing the game.
Certainly.
And they're bringing the world-class capabilities of an Amazon, and then the market, those jobs are changing. The e-commerce space is hot. That's getting our employees closer and closer to the consumer. So BPO used to be thought of as back office. That's not the case. It's very much front office, directly engaging with individual consumers. And the e-commerce space is very much where they need help and support, whether it be an online chat, digital text messaging, call centers. Integrating all those together is really where it's providing great opportunities.
Even those companies which had not outsourced to Indian BPO players or had not outsourced to India, we have an opportunity to help them navigate this digital place. So that's one opportunity. The second opportunity really is in the entire place of social media. By saying, since social media is becoming so pervasive, do we have social media products that we can take to customers and help them grow?
Right.
And the third opportunity, of course, for India is that as we are skilling our people and becoming, as we said, the NASSCOM has used a term called world-worthy, right? And we're trying to get more and more companies to come here because India has that large manpower. So we've got to take advantage of the demographic dividend. The top three challenges, paradoxically, one of the challenges would be skilling. So yes, we have the manpower. We have started the skilling program. But are we doing it sufficiently? Are we doing it in the right manner? Are we doing it in the right proportion? Because as the nature of the business changes, you will have manpower, but do you have the manpower capable of doing these jobs?
Coming up after the break.
Skilling the people and, adding to that workforce is our single biggest challenge.
If you look at where India is driving the business, we are moving from traditional contact center businesses to much more customer interaction services.
But can we work with the government to evolve the right set of strategies? It's not just providing some capex or providing some land, but providing a holistic strategy.
Indo-American Chamber of Commerce presents the first Indo-US BPO Summit, leveraging the power of partnerships in the new digital age, in partnership with CNBC TV 18.
According to industry body NASSCOM, by 2020, the IT BPO industry will account for 10% of India's GDP, almost a fifth of its exports, and about 30 million direct and indirect jobs. However, skill building and retention of talent is one of the key challenges facing the IT BPO sector.
Skilling the people and, adding to that workforce is our single biggest challenge. Because, the other way that I'm typically asked this question is, what about attrition? Why are you facing 40%, 50% kind of attritions, which are huge by any standard?
Right.
If you look at it, the 40-50% attrition is not attrition from the industry. The industry attrition, which is people leave this industry and go out, is in teens and low teens, if at all. At a lot of places, it is single digits. So the balance part of the attrition is employees leaving one company and going into another company. And they're not leaving one company and going into another company at a same salary or a lower salary. They are getting a higher salary. Now, from a company's viewpoint, if we had other raw talent that we could get at a lower price point, why would we pay a higher salary to get that?
Right.
And that is because there are not enough people that are trained and educated. So today, the BPO industry on an average spends anywhere between 90 to 120 days to train people. When I started this industry, I could get a person into revenue producing capabilities in less than 30 days. And that is the gap. And therefore, where we are able to fulfill the gap, finding a way to go into another country to be able to get the resources, because my customer is willing to give me the business at an industry level.
If you look at where India is driving the business, we are moving from traditional contact center businesses to much more customer interaction services. So those graduates that you spoke about need to understand business domains as well as enough of technology in order to fit in. Beyond that, we're looking at research and analytics. So we're actually bringing in more quant and mathematics background people with business experience who are now coming in and helping our clients take smart decisions. Even beyond that, we're looking at bringing in more chartered accountants, more CPAs, more high quality accountants to enable our clients and the CFO environments, the other side, take really smart decisions. So what's actually happened is we've kept moving in terms of the value that we are delivering, and at the same time the commoditized leg of services that we traditionally leverage people to do is now being driven out of robots. And when I say robots, it is robotics, process automation, where repeatable scripts are now being mimicked by computers, and therefore people are moving to higher level jobs.
Communications Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad has promised to unveil a new BPO policy.
A scheme which I am going to launch very soon is having BPO's call centers in the small mufassal towns of India.
This will create 48,000 jobs in rural areas and facilitate skill development for the BPO sector.
If you see the digital profile of India, it is very limited, skewed. Delhi, Noida, Gurgaon, Mumbai, Pune, Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Mysore, like that. And from there, they came the idea of BPO and call centers in India. We have certified 48,000 seats, which have been distributed among all the states of India as per the census population.
There is a little bit of, in tier 1 cities, there is a lot of pressure. There are a lot of companies to move to tier 2, tier 3. But can we work with the government to evolve the right set of strategies? It's not just providing some capex or providing some land, but providing a holistic strategy which includes infrastructure, which includes law and order, which includes security, to help companies move to tier 2 and tier 3. Because if that doesn't happen, there'll be a lot of pressure on tier 1, costs will rise, attrition will rise, and we will run into those problems.
From a potential of problem solving point of view, I would say is we need to take this business deeper into the hinterland of India, more into the tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 locations, and we're working with the government on that. We need government policies to recognize the fact that BPM is not dependent on real estate, but much more on really positive policies that enable great skills moving into these tier 2, tier 3 locations, to work. And finally, I would say the big challenge that we feel is out there in the market is not in our control, and that is when will clients actually take decisions, right? We can control our destiny. As far as clients' decision is taking, that's in their hands. And I feel very comfortable that if you have a compelling business story, clients also will move very fast with decisions.
On the back office piece, it's probably more of, again, less of a challenge, but because you're beginning to see this trend of the tier 2 cities and development of smart cities, of non-metro solutions. So I know you asked me a challenge and I answered it a little differently in terms of the opportunities, because in every challenge remains the opportunity.
While the BPO industry is shifting its focus to higher skills, digitization and automation to win over customers, to solve the infrastructural issues, the Indian government is in the process of inviting bids for setting up rural call centers. 78 companies are touted to have shown interest in this proposal.
Well, with that, it's a wrap on this show. Thank you for watching.
Indo-American Chamber of Commerce presents the first Indo-US BPO Summit, leveraging the power of partnerships in the new digital age, in partnership with CNBC TV 18.